Well, hello, my creative peeps. So today I want to talk about water control, and maybe it's not what we think it is, and why water, not the brushes or our talent, creates that control. I think that the real control in watercolor comes from maybe understanding water, how it moves, when it moves, and most importantly, when to leave it alone, which I am guilty of not doing a lot of times. Even after being a painter and an instructor for over 20 plus years, my mother was an artist. She was self-taught. She taught me, so we might do things the hard way sometimes. And if you are new to watercolor, let me know, what is it about watercolor that you find most frustrating? All right, so if watercolors ever felt unpredictable or frustrating, which I think for all of us it has at some point, it's usually not because of what we're doing wrong. Let's just say it's because water is doing exactly what it's designed to do. So today I want to share a few water-based ideas that hopefully can completely change how much control you feel without forcing the paint to behave. And if you are interested in this final tutorial, check it out over on my Patreon. I want to thank them so much for supporting this channel. Without you guys, there probably would not be a YouTube channel. All right, so number one, let's just jump right into it. Control starts with matching water, maybe not necessarily less water. I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I had for water is that meant that control means using less water. So I have control of that paint, I have control of that pigment, right? I want to put it right there. But in reality, I think control comes from matching those water levels. So if your paper, for example, is wetter than your brush, your paint's going to spread. If your brush is wetter than your paper, that paint is going to flood in there. So neither is wrong, but they create very different results. So while I'm painting here today, I'm just constantly adjusting either the water amounts without thinking about it too much. So you'll see me touching my brush to my paper towel. You'll see me reloading my pigment instead of water, and letting an area maybe slightly dry before I continue. And I do that in every tutorial or every painting that I'm doing. And a lot of times, we've been talking about this lately. Last week, if you didn't get a chance to watch why copying isn't helping you, check out that video. And I'm not saying don't do tutorials, don't copy, because copying is so important. I had some folks really come at me in the comments. So if you watch the whole thing, I think you probably realize what direction I was going in with that. But what I was saying is that once you start noticing wet, damp, dry, instead of too much water, I think watercolor starts to feel much less random. And that's what I was talking about by, if you're copying, you don't maybe understand what's going on in the artist's head. You're just copying what they're doing. So sometimes if we don't know why we're doing something, it doesn't help us for the next one. All right, number two, water control happens before that brush even hits the paper. Most watercolor problems, I think, happen before you even put that brush down and that stroke is made. So before I touch the paper, this is what I'm asking myself in my head, and I'm trying to do this more out loud for the videos for my patrons, so that you can see that I'm looking at, is this area still shiny? Is it damp? Is it fully dry? Do I want movement, or do I want that pigment to stay in place? So that tiny pause is where that control lives. And I think watercolor rewards that awareness. The paintings usually aren't misbehaving. It's just responding to what we are doing. All right, number three, timing is a bigger skill than precision. All right, you don't need perfect brush work to have control. You need that timing. And it's maybe not necessarily control, but that timing is going to help you decide what you want to have happen next. So there's a short window, right, where watercolor still moves, but doesn't completely take over. And I think that moment looks different depending on humidity, the paper, again, how much water you've used. but you can usually see it once you understand it a little bit better. So if it's shiny, if your paper's shiny, it's very wet. If it has like the soft glow, that's going to be the point where it's still going to be workable. And then if it's matte, where it started to dry, that is the time for detailing. And I think this is why following tutorials for us sometimes can be frustrating. You're copying those steps, but once again, timing is very personal, and it's based on all of those factors like paper, how much water, humidity, even the brush, your brush load. Some brushes load water heavier or more than other brushes. All right, number 4, every stroke or every brush stroke that we have adds water to it, and that's whether you meant to or not. And this is a big one. So every time you touch your brush to the paper, you're not just adding pigment to your paper, you're also adding water. So even dry looking strokes will reawaken what's underneath there. And when watercolor starts to feel out of control, it's often because an area has been worked too much. So instead of fixing it, wait, let it dry. Maybe go to another area of your paper or your painting, or just kind of step back and come back later to it. And sometimes that control you get from restraining. Number 5, blotting is a control tool, not a mistake. So using a paper towel isn't cheating. Blotting is going to let you lift that excess water. It's going to soften those blooms, and it's going to regain control without having to, scrub your brush much. And I use blotting constantly. I don't even think about it sometimes. You don't even see it on the paper or on the video when I'm doing it, especially before I'm adding details. And that 1 second of blotting is going to help me prevent an entire section from blooming or back running. Number 6, soft edges are still controlled. A lot of us think that, again, control means those crisp edges everywhere, but soft edges are much more intentional and more difficult. And soft control comes from painting on damp paper, letting pigment settle naturally, and stopping before it looks finished. And hard edges come later, and that's when the water allows them, usually when it's drier. All right, and then number 7, control, I think, is knowing when to stop. And I also think that's probably the hardest part, at least for me. Now, watercolor usually looks its best one step before we think it's done. And it's so easy to overwork. And I think if your values are working, that painting is going to read, the looseness is going to feel more intentional, and the water did its job. So control isn't about painting every detail, it's about knowing where not to paint. Now, my mom was a detailed artist, so when I was learning how to paint, I painted very detailed. And I have since loosened up dramatically. As a matter of fact, now my mom looks to me sometimes and like, how'd you do that? Because everything was so structured and detailed. Her paintings looked photorealistic, and mine are so much more loose now. And as we look at most watercolors from afar, so usually a couple feet back, and your eyes will fill in all of those details naturally. That's just how our brains work. But something else to think about is if you are to look across the street at a bird, all you're going to see is a little red blob. You're not going to be able to really see the eye. You're going to barely be able to make out the beak. So we have to keep that in mind too. Sometimes we get overzealous in some of the details, and if you think about it, you wouldn't be able to see all of those things anyway. But guess what? Your mind or your brain knows that's a bird across the way. So it's going to fill in everything in your imagination for you. Now, if you are looking at something close up, like you're painting a bird and you're right there, then all of those details could matter. And it can be beautiful if you're painting every single feather. So again, it is different styles for different people. It's art, so who's to say who's right or wrong? So here are my final thoughts. Watercolor control isn't for me about forcing the paint to behave. For me, it's understanding what the water wants to do and being able to work with it. And I think when we start thinking in terms of water levels, your timing, restraint, I think watercolor stops feeling unpredictable and starts feeling more cooperative with you. So if you want to watch my full unedited thought process while I paint these two paintings, every pause, every decision, every adjustment I make, I do share the full hour-long version for my patrons. So if you like this, please like and share, and we will see you in the next one.